Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the UTAH College Football Week 12 continues. We got the Buffs, Utah, on the road at Colorado. Let's go.
Welcome to the UTAH. The UTAH. UTAH. Hey, get the UTAH.
All right, like I said, we got Utah on the road at Folsom Field here. Colorado now laying 10.5. Looks like the 9.5s and the 10s are gone. Total sitting at 47.5. Let's get into this one. We'll start with some head-to-head history. Been a pretty one-sided rivalry here. Utah is 10-1 in their last 11 games against Colorado. The Buffs have covered the number, 2-1 against the spread in their last 3. So it's been very one-sided. Obviously, this year is very different. Colorado, the much better team. I don't know if that's ever been the case, not since 2016, which is actually the last time Colorado won. It was also the last time they were favored. So let's match these two teams up on the field. We'll start with the Utes offense against the Colorado defense, and this is a mismatch in favor of Colorado. Not what we were expecting this season. Utah has been a terrible offensive team. Obviously, we were expecting Cam Rising to be playing quarterback this year. That hasn't been the case, and Colorado has exceeded all expectations defensively. Look at this Colorado defense, 26 in the country in yards per play allowed, 31st in success rate. They're great against the run, great against the pass, flirting with an idea of being a top 25 defense. In fact, if you ask me, they might be close to being a top 25 defense right now. And look at the left side of this graphic. The Utah offense has been dreadful, to put it delicately. And what makes things even worse for the Utah offense is they seem to be getting worse as the season progresses. They're definitely trending in the wrong direction here. Through the first 4 games, they were averaging 33 points per game, over 6.1 yards per play. In their last 5 games, they're averaging 14.2 points per game. They're averaging 14.2 points per game, under 5 yards per play. Success rate as a team, 33.3%. So yeah, it's been tough sledding for this Utah offense. They've been absolutely terrible, and this Colorado defense is on the opposite trajectory here. In their last 3 games, they're allowing just 19 points per game, 4.73 yards per play, success rate under 35%. Colorado's playing out of their minds defensively. Now, I know we did see the Utah rushing attack get going against BYU last week. 147 yards on the ground, 4.9 yards per carry, 43.3% success rate per rush. So that's a good sign if you're Utah, because we know that's what this Utah offense wants to do. They want to run the ball, but we can't ignore what they did in the previous 4 games before that. Under 96 rushing yards per game, 3.35 yards per carry, 35.4% success rate per rush. So I'm not going to let one game against BYU trick me into thinking I can trust this Utah run game right now. I don't. And Colorado's been playing tough defense against the run this entire season. On the year, they're allowing just 151 rushing yards per game, success rate per rush under 40%, 3.93 yards per carry. So, yeah, Utah's got an offensive line. They've got a talented RB there, but I don't trust them. I don't trust them to even run the ball in this game. I think Colorado's defense is going to give Utah all kinds of problems in this one. But what about on the other side of the ball? What about the matchup for the Colorado offense? Well, obviously, this is the strength of the Utah team, the defense, right? 35th in yards per play. They actually lead the country in overall defensive success rate. They're sitting at 1st. Great numbers against the run, even better numbers against the pass, which obviously comes in handy against this Colorado offense that's very reliant on the pass. They don't even try to run the ball, but when they do run it, they're not very successful. 130th in yards per carry, 77th in success rate per run, 117th in effective rush. Obviously, we know one of the most dynamic passing attacks in the country, though. 29th in yards per pass attempt, 23rd in success rate per dropback, 7th in effective pass. Now, we do have to point out that Colorado really didn't have the best offensive game last week against Texas Tech. I know they finished the game with 41 points on the board, but just 6.8 yards per pass attempt, success rate per dropback under 38%. A little bit concerning. I mean, that was on the road in Lubbock, a tough place to go play, and they still won the game comfortably. But definitely passing numbers, efficiency-wise, were down. But still, I mean, look at the 5 games before that. This passing attack's been very reliable. Over 318 passing yards per game, 8.9 yards per pass attempt, success rate per dropback up close to 48%. Now, if you're taking the points with Utah in this game, you're looking right here. In their last 3 games, they are not getting thrown on. Just 5.9 yards per pass attempt allowed, 34.1% success rate per dropback, 181 passing yards allowed per game. And that's against BYU. Retzlaff can throw it. Houston, okay, Houston can't do anything offensively. And TCU, Hoover can definitely throw it. So Utah playing very good defense against the pass. The thing is, in this particular matchup, I mean, on the road in Colorado, this Colorado passing attack's on a different level. And Utah defensively, if we were talking about this matchup last year, I would say this is an ultimate mismatch. The the Utah defensive front against the Colorado offensive line. And it's still a mismatch. Utah's defensive line is much better than Colorado's offensive line. The thing is, the gap just isn't as big as it was last year. Colorado's offensive line, I mean, it hasn't played well, but it hasn't been practical joke terrible. Seemed to be improving as the year goes along. And Utah's defensive line, although we are seeing the pressure numbers rise a little bit, not the pass rush we're used to seeing from Utah. Just 40th in pressure rate, 92nd in sack rate. This is not the usual top 10 pass rush Utah defensive front we're used to seeing. They've been very good about staying on the line of scrimmage against the run, but as far as pressuring the passer, they're not towards the top of the, almost said the NFL, not towards the top of the FBS this year, which means Shedeur Sanders is going to have some clean pockets to throw from. And guess what? Utah runs a lot of man coverage. In fact, 9th most in the FBS. 9th in man coverage frequency. Colorado, as I'm sure you've guessed, they cook on man coverage. I mean, you can't cover those Colorado receivers. So maybe if Utah's pass rush shows up and looks like last year's Utah's pass rush, I can see it. Shedeur Sanders under pressure. But on the road, based on what we've seen this year, Colorado should have no problem making throws on this Utah defense, which is why there's no way I can take Utah here, even up at plus 10.5. I can't do it. I will say now that it's up over 10, I'm not going to lay it with Colorado either, but how about Utah's team total, 17.5? How about the under? Colorado's defense is playing out of their minds. Utah offensively is about as bad as it gets. The only way I see Utah getting up over 17 points is if Shedeur Sanders turns the ball over, but he's done a good job with that. So I'm going to take Utah team total under 17.5. Lean Colorado minus the points, but now that it's up over 10, I'm not going to do that. Utah team total under. If you want to see all the bets I currently have open, head over to KyleKirms.com and click on open bets. You'll see all mine as well as everyone on the staff here. Also, when you sign up to Sauce Network Plus, it comes with access to the Discord, and you can see the daily bet reports that I post. Also, you can participate in the weekly betting league. $150 cash, and one of these trophies go to the winner every single week. So if you're interested, head over to the website and sign up. Let's have ourselves a good one here. Please remember to bet responsibly. Hit me up in the Discord if you need me.